Ladies and gentlemen, podcast listeners of all ages, are you bored with traditional and dull real estate content?
Yes!
Do you want to be entertained by the most successful, innovative, and forward-thinking industry professionals?
Yes!
Do you want to elevate your business, be challenged to take action, and raise the bar in your personal and business dojo?
Yeah!
Now welcome your ninja host, Jeff Fitzer.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another episode of the Real Estate and Mortgage Content Ninja Podcast. And today, I am bringing you a guest who has been arguably one of my number one mentors with all of the stuff that I am doing. This gentleman has recently taken his business across country from the great state of Illinois, Chicago, the city, to the beautiful city of San Diego, California. He is the real estate marketing dude. This guy has the podcast that I looked up to that inspired me to create my podcast. The gentleman who has pushed me to get uncomfortable and get out there, create video, create content, and create value because he is the master of doing that for real estate agents. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Mike Cuevas.
What's up, Jeff? And
What's
thank
up?
you for listening, all you listeners. That was a good intro. I like your radio voice, Jeff.
Yeah, it's funny. You're the second person who said that this week.
You got a pretty good radio voice. Like, it really does sound good. This would probably be your dream, and especially the way the Cardinals are doing right now. You'd probably be like your dream job. You might give them a run for their money.
First of all, I like the Cardinal plug. Thank you for that. Coming from a Cubs fan, because we have
Sox fan.
Oh,
White Sox.
Sox. Okay, well then we like you. That's right. That's not so bad. I remember you being at a Cubs game in San Diego where there was nobody there but Cubs fans.
Yeah, I was just being homesick.
Which is pretty typical of California. But Mike, welcome to the show, my brother. I mean everything that I say. You know, you and I got introduced a couple of years ago, and we ran together and did some awesome things together. We're in Closing Table Mastermind together. We still stay in close touch. You're doing some amazing things. Your business has evolved. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself, where you come from, your background in the business, etc.
Sure, I'd be on the other end of these things because I do so many of these, and now I'm actually getting interviewed. I don't even think you're going to ask me a question. So I guess my background is I now live in San Diego. I've sold real estate since 2002, fresh out of college, went from pouring beer in my head to selling $400,000 houses on Michigan Avenue. And I did it all without buying leads ever. And my whole background is that I've always been good at attracting business, and I never really knew how to really explain what the hell I did or how I was successful until, honestly, I started watching like Gary Vee and a lot of those stuff. And I started realizing that I've always practiced content marketing. I've always practiced branding. I've never really realized, that people had a terminology for it. So over the last 4 or 5 years, I'm like, shit, everything they're talking about, I've been doing my whole career. It's been cool to sort of see that. And where we're at now is that we provide done-for-you video services for real estate agents, lenders, mortgage people that help them build their personal brand without having to talk about real estate. We're really big on branding. I think the issue with the industry is that everybody turns to their social media account and turns it into the classified ad section for their real estate business or mortgage business. And the truth is that no one gives a fuck. No one cares about your fucking interest rates or any of that shit. So how do you stay in front of people? And that's what we do. We create that brand story, that excuse, so that you can stay in front of your most valuable asset, people, which is your database, without talking about real estate. We build audiences. We build attention.
And let me take them back to what you call yourself, which is the real estate marketing dude. Arguably, you're probably one of the early adopters in the real estate business to have a cartoon as your brand. And you were bold there. You are a dude, and that is very evident in the curse words that come out of your mouth, which is what makes you who you are. And to take the audience back a little bit, and I want to get deep into what you do for them. We were attracted to each other.
That sounded really bad.
In business, we were connected because of some of the things that you were doing through the original platform, which was Attractor, and doing the branding. And to me, I'm not going to lie to you, man, I was super attracted to it. So I don't care what that sounds like. That's just a fact. I saw what you were doing and I was like, holy shit, I got to do this. I get it. And the fact of the matter is a lot of what you do, and you probably see this all the time, is people don't get it. They don't get it. They probably criticize you like they criticize me, and they say, your content's really cool and it's entertaining, but it's not relevant. You're not talking about mortgages, or you're not talking about real estate. Well,
Right.
that's boring. And you are the one, my friend, who's taught me that. So take the listener back a little bit who don't know you about kind of the evolution of Attractor and then where you are today.
So this started when I was 22 years old, literally right when I got out of college. And I'm sitting there across the bar from my best friend in the world. And we're getting hammered because that's what 22-year-olds will do on a Thursday at 5:30. So he decides to tell me, hey, Mike, I just referred a $400,000 listing to this realtor because she was smoking hot. And I'm like, holy shit, John, thanks a lot. You know, I'm 22 years old. A $400,000 listing equates out to about $10,000 at a 2.5% side. So the problem was, I was like, holy shit, it dawned on me. If my best friend didn't know what the hell I do for a living, how the hell is anyone else? You know, I always knew this was a referral-based business. It's not what you know, it was who you know in real estate. And the truth is, your biggest referral sources are the people closest to you, the ones that already know, like, trust, and love you, and the ones you'd invite to your wedding or funeral. That's when it hit me. So I went home that night and I cried for a couple hours. And then after I got done doing that, I started researching and I started following all these guys. And back then what we started doing, and I decided to direct mail farm my database with non-real estate related content.
At the age of 22, you were doing this.
Yeah.
And so how big was your database at that time, though?
40 people.
Nice.
I think the problem with the industry, everyone wants to reach the masses to everybody and then resonate with none. The jack of all trades is the master of none, always. And I think that when people try to resonate with everybody, you end up resonating with none. You know, so what happened was that I started direct mail farming my database. And that was my number one source of business. It always is, because I knew that 100% of my database would receive those mailers. And I didn't give a shit if they threw it in the garbage. I knew they had to take mental acknowledgement of my existence and what I do for a living. And what happened within 6 months is that my friends who previously thought of me as a frat boy, hazing, pledge, drinking, keg stand guy started looking at me as a real estate agent. That is the number one hardest thing for an agent to do, is earn the respect of their database when they first start in a business. Because the truth is they will send you business, but most of them hesitate too because they don't know if you know what the fuck you're doing yet. Anytime you could build your authority, and I put that on paper, my friends started, regardless of my experience, it was the perception that I was a professional. And it's really the same thing that we're doing today. We're just doing it with video. I mean, I think Facebook was around in 2002, but I wasn't using it. It was like MySpace, I think, was around then too. And that was the big thing. We didn't have video email. We didn't have all these different cool ways to communicate with people. So branding really was, at that time, at least for my real estate business, was just through direct mail and logos and designs and just sort of being everywhere as much as you can all the time. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Fast forward to today, it's the same thing. And all we're doing with real estate is what every business does. Jeff's going to have a baby, guys. All right. And we're going to play this game. All right. So Jeff, we were talking about this before. So Jeff's going to have a baby coming in December now. Here's what's going to happen to Jeff. All right. And if it's not happened yet, did you guys register for like a baby shower or anything?
Dude, it happened like within a couple of weeks of us linking this out. I know where you're going with this.
Okay. So Jeff, he registered somewhere like Bye Bye Baby.
Actually,
like,
we didn't even register, Mike. That's the thing. Actually, funny story. We're going to register tonight, but we haven't even registered yet.
And they already probably found you.
They already found us.
So let's look at Bye Bye Baby's business model. It's really simple. It's the same as Bed Bath & Beyond because I'm pretty sure they're the same company. But what they do is they tout the 20% off discount, right? And they give the 20% off discount. So Jeff once a week probably has a ton of 20% off coupons or some kind of direct mail, you know, from those companies. Jeff's probably scrolling around on his Facebook right when we get done with this podcast. He's going to see a bunch of baby shit hanging out there. And he's going to be like, what the fuck? That's crazy. Oh, Facebook's listening to me. Oh my God. And then in Jeff's inbox right now as we speak, there's at least 2 to 3 20% off coupons inside of there. Now, all of that business is doing is that they're using 3 separate channels, social media, direct mail, and email, to consistently stay in front of whom their audience is, because they recognize that when they stay in front of their audience, that it drives sales and it drives referral business. Now, this is what the Zappos book came out about. And it's no different in the real estate business. That's all we're doing. We're creating a media strategy based around the individual brand of the personality of an agent. No one cares about what the hell you do for a living. No one cares you sell real estate. They care why you do it. What's interesting is that it's the exact same thing. So we create an excuse to stay in front of our brand through those same channels. Direct mail, we automate through our software Attractor. Video email, we have that inside of our software Attractor. We do that consistently. And the video content that we create becomes our social media content in the form of a story. And we're just creating media around your brand. Does that make sense, or did I go on a rattle?
No, keep rattling because it's not rattling. It's brilliance.
So let me explain what this is. So Bye Bye Babies audience are people like Jeff, people who are having babies. They're not going to go and start sending the 20% off coupon to your fucking grandma, are they? Because there's nothing to do there. They realize that by staying in front of that database, it drives sales. So who is a realtor's audience? The realtor's audience are the people they know, right? The problem is that you guys are all chasing all these shiny objects because all the fucking gurus are telling you that they're the next shiniest thing. And if you don't have it, you're the next thing from sliced bread. But the truth is that 65% of business still comes from referrals and past clients. That's a fact. That is indisputable. But yet, you're going to go spend 90% of your time doing all the shiny objects and chasing a bunch of shit that like a hamster wheel.
Give them an example of a shiny object. Are we talking about a Zillow lead, for example?
There's so many shiny objects. A shiny object could be anything, any type of lead generator that's the next best thing from sliced bread. Anything that's a promise. And here's the problem is that I love the shiny objects. I'm not saying don't prospect, folks. What I am saying is that prospect, but take care of this first. And if you're going to prospect, the goal of prospecting is to develop relationships and then filter them into your branding campaign so that you could continuously grow that audience.
Moral of the story is focus more attention on your SOI.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's 40 people or 400 people.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Here's the cool thing is that here are the facts, folks. If you're going to get anything on this podcast, I'm going to still this in your brain. 10 to 15% of those people on your Facebook feed right now are moving. 10% to 15% of the people on your email list, they're fucking moving. 10 to 15% of the people that are on your direct mail list, yeah, guess what? They're moving too. Now, that's a mathematical fact that's indisputable. 100% of the people on every reach or every channel or any bit of communication you have a referral for you over the next 12 months if you can make the connection and get the introduction. That's what branding does. It equates you to be top of mind brand awareness so that when the term real estate is thought about, your brand comes to mind and they interject you into a conversation.
I love it. I love it.
That's all it is.
And did you guys hear that? Let me take them back for just a few sentences. 10 to 15% of the people that you know are moving or know someone that is moving. Do the math, folks. If you have a sphere of 100 people, which I think most of us have a far larger sphere than that, that's 10 people. Think about it. Grow your sphere by 100 people a year, and that's 10 to 15 clients every stinking year. And then guess what? That starts to snowball from there. This is not rocket science, Michael. I love it. Keep going.
No, it's not. It's really just bringing simplicity back into it. Here's what people are doing. They're chasing the shiny objects. Everyone wants to run Facebook ads right now, but nobody knows how to fucking target them right.
100%.
And you can't run Facebook ads without creating content, period.
Well, you know what I'm starting to hear from in our market is people saying that they're running the ads or they're boosting or doing whatever, but they're not seeing anything as a result. So guess what they're going to do? Like everything else, they're going to quit. If you take the time to actually learn how to do it correctly or hire someone, invest in your damn business, it is freaking powerful.
Let's break down the numbers. This is an important point. So what I'm talking about is just a different way of lead generation, if you want to call it lead generation. So like a lot of our friends, you know, Jeff and I hang out with the same people. Some of these guys spend 20, 30 G's a month on lead gen, but it's scalable. They create a positive ROI with it. Now, typically it's 1 in 30, 1 in 40 online leads convert is what I'm seeing across the board, regardless of who you talk to. Some guys convert better than others and some gals, whatever, but that's pretty safe. All right. So if 1 in 30 people that you speak to and you know you're getting 30 leads a month, you know you're going to get 1 sale out of it. If you get 60 leads a month, you're going to get 2 sales out of it. You could scale it, right? It's common sense. Now, take the same numbers we just gave you and look at it from that point of view. And the difference between attracting and chasing is just that. The larger your sphere is, the larger your audience, the more people that know who you are and what you do, the more opportunities that come about it.
Yes.
What we're doing with video is just that. We're not fighting for lead generation. We're fighting for the attention of your audience. We're fighting to reserve a space in people's head, real estate in people's head, that when they think the term real estate, your name's instantly thought of. And you only do that through having a brand people know, like, trust, and follow.
If I can say it in a different way, is you got to fight through the noise. There's so much noise out there right now. And a Facebook business page, for example, I mean, it's pay to play. If you're not paying, you're dead. And if you don't know how to pay to play, you're also dead. So you got to know this stuff. And then you got to create the content like Mike says, and that's what he's so damn good at. Create the content that is actually interesting. And let's keep in mind, folks, that very few of your audience, of your sphere, are actually buying a house. Remember, it's 85 to 90% are not.
Right.
5 to 90% are not taking out a mortgage. They're not buying a house, but that doesn't mean you can't stay relevant to them. But you're going to lose them if you're always talking about real estate or mortgage data. That's boring. You got to tease it every once in a while, but for the most part, you got to do more than that. Mike, talk to them about how you do that for your agents.
Well, it really depends on whom you are. Like Jeff said, I'm a dude. So, I mean, I wish I was a luxury agent. We did an event with Josh Altman a couple of weeks ago, Miami, and I got a chance to meet Josh. And it was cool, dude.
Tell them who Josh Altman is, just in case there's a few people that don't know.
Josh Altman's the $1 million listing guy. He's super cool, dude. Funny. He's the whole reason I actually watched the show. I love his personality, but his brand is luxury. Like, when you just see the dude, his suit is luxury. His shoes are luxury. The dude just looks like luxury. Like, he like walks and money comes out of his fucking ass. Like, the guy's just luxury, right? But if you ever hear his story, how he developed that brand was by whom he associated with. And if you read his book, his speech was interesting because I read the book and then I heard him tell the story live. And you know how he got started was that he associated with himself with whom he wanted his brand to be associated with. Now, what I mean by that is that when he didn't have anything to do, he went to the fucking Starbucks in Beverly Hills and just sat there and waited. And he would eavesdrop on the people in line. And that's how he got one of his first sales. Like, you heard some guys talk about real estate. He threw his coffee out, got in line to go buy another one just to chat with this dude.
That's brilliant.
So he ended up selling like an $8 million house. And that was how he got his break. But the point is that he built his brand by whom he associated with. Nike built their brand by associating their brand with Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, and all this other stuff. No one ever talks about their product or service. You shouldn't. You don't need to. Your product or service is, you know, when you're branding, you're associating yourself with whom you want your product or service to be resembled by. Okay, so let me give you an example. This is the easiest one to remember. We'll take it into real estate terms. San Diego real estate mama. San Diego real estate mama is a mom. She's not a real estate agent. She's a mom that happens to sell houses. So her content is very mom friendly. When we're creating her videos, she's creating content about the top 5 kid-friendly beaches with changing stations, the top 4 breweries you could take your kids to get drunk at. She's creating content that is relevant to moms and relevant to her because that's who the fuck she is. Now, at the end of the day, what she's going to actually be doing is using that content as an excuse to stay in front of her most valuable asset, her database, and also use Facebook ads to put that content in front of other people that would be part of her database that she hasn't met yet. Now, she's going after the connection. As she builds an audience of people who knows what she is and what she does for a living, now we go back to the stats, and that's the difference between attracting and chasing. Over time, the audience gets larger, and when she starts, let's just say she grows an audience of 300 people. When I say audience, I mean reach. So if you have 300 people that see your shit on social, 300 people on your email list, 300 people on your direct mail list, the more people on your list, the larger the audience. Out of the audience, the stats don't change. 10 to 15% of that audience is moving. 100% of that audience knows someone who's moving. When you connect your personality with your brand, they like you, they follow you, they share your shit. You know, believe me, go ask for an electrician right now on Facebook and see how many weird requests you're going to get. It's the same thing. It'll prove the point.
And you bring up 2 good points there that I'd like to talk about real quick is number one, stop worrying about what people think about you. When we talk about building your brand, find something that you're passionate about and that is easy for you to talk about on a consistent basis because it's you, whether that is you being a mother, whether that is your family, whether that is fitness, whether that is food, whether that is fashion. It doesn't matter what it is. Make that your core message and just know you are not going to attract everyone. You're going to attract the people that want to be attracted to you. Just like Mike knows he's going to turn off a bunch of people because of his mouth. He knows that. And he's okay with that because he wants to attract people that are like-minded who are attracted by his brand. And that's the key here. Just like me. You know how many people know about me and how many miles I run?
I was going to say that. You're a perfect example of that. When you probably mentioned this in your podcast, I don't know if you did, but I was at the same event you were when you committed to make the run. And that was when you saw Jesse Itzler. You saw Jesse Itzler. There's a small room of us sitting there. And yeah, Jeff committed to run 2,018 miles. Now, his brand says everything about determination, motivation. I can do this. You got this, homie. It's inspiration. Now, more people know what Jeff does. So as Jeff continues to do his inspirational posts, once in a while, he'll sprinkle in some boring mortgage shit, right? About 20% of the time, Jeff?
Yep, if not less. Yep.
And hey, don't forget, this is what I do. Like, and even the podcast right now, I'm looking at Jeff's background. I can see that he's an avid St. Louis fan.
Sports fan, yes.
Sports fan. But the only thing Jeff's missing right there, it's probably on his other wall, though, is, you know, USA Mortgage. And that's always in the background, but it's not the core of his message here. You know what I mean? It's on his shirt. See, there you go.
There you go.
So that's what branding is. It's nothing about real estate. It isn't. It shouldn't be. It doesn't need to be. It's about who you are.
Exactly.
Be you.
Exactly. So stop worrying about what people think and just put it out there. You're not going to like how you sound. You're not going to like how you look. Don't worry about it. Just do it and do it consistently. Find a topic that make it your own. I'll give you another example. I had a realtor come to me once and say, I love what you do. I watch what you do. And I'm really struggling with finding my identity. What is my brand going to be? And this is a really simple conversation. I said, well, what do you like to do? And he's like, well, I'm a single guy. I go out to bars. I like to try beers. I'm like, dude, that's it, man. I said, all you have to do is go to different bars, try different beers, create a post about it every single time you do it. Sometimes a video, sometimes just a post. And you're going to become the expert real estate agent who shares, about different beers and craft beers and all that kind of stuff. And I said, actually, that's a really good topic. You're going to get a ton of followers on that. And guess what? Those people who love beer are also going to associate you with real estate. And I guarantee you're going to pick up business as a result of it. And all you're doing is creating a little extra media around what you enjoy doing. That's it. That's how simple this is.
So I had a call from a gal in Dallas yesterday. And yeah, same thing. So I checked, she sent me all her links. She's like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Dude, like the personality's there. The videos that she had, they're pretty good. Then I actually watched the video, and what is wrong is that the video is all about her. And that's the whole thing, that your content should never be about you. It should always be about something or someone else. You should be telling a story. I think that's a huge, huge, huge point. I think a lot of people too, Jeff, are like, fuck, I'm a brand. What the hell do you mean I'm a brand? I'm just a dude. I'm just like an individual person. Well, if you're going to go create a retail store, or your wife or your significant other starts a jean line or a clothing line, is that not a brand?
100%.
So yeah, you just got to represent yourself the same way. And don't overthink this shit.
Yeah, you're exactly right there. Not only do they overthink it, once they start overthinking it, they end up talking themselves out of it. That is the biggest mistake or biggest hurdle, I think, that most people run into. And it's not that hard to go out and figure it out. I mean, you mentioned Gary Vee earlier. He's a great example. He's arguably the best of the best. He's almost the one behind what we're all doing. And do you think that everybody follows him? The answer is no. In fact, I think, Mike, you probably know this. He targets like the millennial audience. He targets like that college age to 30 years old audience with his content. He's smart. And the guy's probably, I don't know if he's a billionaire yet, but he's well on his way if he's not. And he really did it through building his brand.
It's acceptable now to be yourself. 10 years ago, I couldn't be a dude.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine, like, you've been in the business as long as I have. Can you imagine, like, fucking Chicago real estate dude 10 years ago?
Right.
Before the crash, people would be like, get the fuck out of here.
Right. Yeah.
But social media has allowed us all to sort of become more personable and less professional. And I think that's the opportunity, because anytime you do that, you start connecting. Here's a good example, guys. Put it this way. You go on a listing presentation with a complete stranger. Now, you're lying to yourself if you don't think that complete stranger is more likely to ask you to go to 4 or 4.5% of your listing versus 5 or 6. Now, you go to another listing presentation from somebody that you personally know. I guarantee you them asking you to go under 4 to 4.5% or under 5% is way less likely. And the reason there is because there's a connection.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't want to beat this into the ground, because what I really want to do is, Mike, obviously you're essentially doing me a massive favor here. I mean, the point of the podcast is to provide content, but also to promote what it is that you do. If you're paying attention, you're hearing the message that we're telling you. You know what you have to do. You just need to do it. Tell them, Mike, how you do this for the real estate brokerages that you partner with that hire your service.
Sure. So a few years ago, I had a vision about putting a real estate marketing dude in every office in the country and every lender and title and whatnot. We figured it out. And what we do is we're a full service video and branding content marketing company, and we do everything for you. So depending on what type of services you need or are looking to do, we could either just craft a video series for you and start creating media on your brand. What we do with these, Jeff, is we do all this shit on our cell phones. So what we train agents how to do is use your cell phone, a thing called a gimbal, and a wide angle camera lens, and transform your arm into a video studio. And it's very simple. We're actually training kids to do this for their parents that are too technologically inept. So it's not hard to do, but I could tell you folks, there's not a better skill to learn right now than video, because every time you are shooting one, you'll generate business off of it. I do. I get it from ice cream shops. My last client came in, I was ice cream shop because I was filming an agent video there. there's so much leverage with video. So I don't get off track. What we do is we build out your entire brand, from the logo to the content strategy to your email list, to your direct mail list, to your social media reach. And then we provide all of your content management going forward. You shoot, we edit, we optimize, we turn it into a blog post, we distribute it, we run your Facebook ads, we send it out to your database, we send it to all your social media profiles. We make it hard for you to be forgotten about, and we don't like when you have to talk about real estate.
That's awesome. Most of you, I can say that confidently, will listen to the messages that we share, and you'll be like, damn, that's amazing, I need to do that. And 2 weeks later, you won't do anything, maybe 5% of it. You need to understand that not only do you need to be doing this stuff, but if you're not going to execute, what Mike just said is somewhat labor intensive, which is why Mike created this product, because you might do 10% of it or 20% of it, but if you're not doing the whole thing, this is why these services are created, and you need to invest in yourself. And that's why he's created this done for you service, because, and I've heard this, Mike, from several people recently. Sharon was another one recently, with Kingston Lane, who said the same thing. It's like, I think in his words, people won't do shit. And that's the truth. And if you're a real estate agent or a loan officer or a title rep or an insurance rep, look in the damn mirror, look in the mirror and tell me that you are doing shit. And I'm using that word loosely, of course, because it just seems to flow with this particular show. But are you all going to do it? And if the answer is no, if you find yourself and you write down a little list just from this podcast and say, I'm going to do this, and this, give it 30 days. 30 days. Circle back in 30 days. If you have not accomplished all of them, you need to quit being a weenie with your business and invest in your business and get engaged with some of these companies like Mike Cuevas, what he's put together, because that is what you need in your business. That is what will separate you and differentiate you from all of the damn noise. And this is what you need in your business.
You want to hear a scary stat? Well, actually a startling stat, because everyone's like, oh my God, it sounds like so much work. The bar is not too high to get ahead in the real estate industry. I just heard this. I don't know if it's accurate or not, but it came from an accurate source. Only 3% of agents in the country do 6 sides or more per year. 3% of agents in the country do 6 sides or more a year. Like, I don't know how an agent only does 6 deals a year, because you have to fucking literally be in the closet for the entire year and never talk about real estate or anything to anyone and never post anything. I mean, you might literally be on Mars if you could do less than 6 deals a year, just because you either have 0 friends and this business is not right for you. And you got to be honest with yourself on that. It's not right for everyone. Or you just didn't try. You could trip over 6 deals a year. Like, go out and go to a bar. Like, I guarantee you go to the bar. We did this presentation the other day. I'm like, I think there's like 15 people in the room. And I'm like, all right, these are the stats. How many of you in here are moving? In the room with a bunch of realtors, and slowly you see 2 or 3 hands raise up. I'm like, see guys, people are fucking moving right here. It's just mathematical.
Yep.
So once you know those stats, it makes it a lot easier, because then everything you do is for attention.
And let me clarify what you just said too and add to it. If you're in that grouping, and if you're thinking to yourself right now, if you're making excuses in your head as to why you can't do more than 1 transaction a month, or as Mike even said, which is a half of a transaction a month, and you're sitting there and you're making excuses, go ahead and just shut this off right now. Don't even bother listening to it, because you know what? You're not going to ever amount to anything more than what you are now. I hate to say that. I hate to be a dick, but it's true. You're not. I'll give you kudos if you've made it this far in the podcast and you listen this far. You've made it farther than most. But if you have, and you're sitting there making excuses in your head, you either got to eliminate that and realize that, you know what, I have nobody to blame but myself, and I need to do something about it. And that's why we give this to you. That's why the Mike Cuevases of the world are out there, because he's given it to so many people. I'm living proof of what I've done with my brand. I can tell you 2 years ago, I did not envision this. Didn't even have a clue, didn't even see this coming. And all of a sudden, a series of events and a series of introductions to different people has led me to following guys like Mike. And truthfully, Mike, you're probably my number 1A inspiration, man. I really appreciate you and appreciate everything that we've done together, because, who knows where it's going to take me. And hopefully, you and I are standing up on a stage together and talking about our success stories in the next 5 to 10 years, because I have no doubt that you're already doing it. And I'm just trying to stay with you. So, Mike, unless you have anything else specific you want to share about what you do, how does somebody find you? How do they get a hold of you? What's their next steps?
Feel free to visit my site. It's really easy, guys. Ready? 1, realestatemarketingdude.com. Okay. If you don't remember that, shame on you. If you're interested in this and you see what video does, how do you create media around your brand? There's a webinar that you can access right on the front page of my site. It's in the menu bar. Like, you really can't miss it. And there's also a course on my site that you could purchase. It's only $29 if you're really interested in learning this. Also, if you're interested, feel free to set up a demo with me and do a branding consult and see what the hell is going on and what's going on with your brand, and let's see how fucked up it is. Basically, just go to my site, go around, subscribe to my podcast, follow me on social media, see what we're doing. Everything we do, we personally do ourselves. This isn't a theory. We actually do this stuff. Feel free to visit our site. That's where you find me, realestatemarketingdude.com.
realestatemarketingdude.com. And let me give yet another endorsement here. I follow Mike on social media. I watch what he's doing. I see what they're doing lately, especially with the video and creating community mayors, if you will, the authority in their communities. And they're going around and then they're interviewing local business owners and they're growing their SOI. It's brilliant, brilliant strategy. I take a ton of stuff that I see from Mike and implement it into my own business. And you should be doing the exact same thing. realestatemarketingdude.com. This is Mike Cuevas. Mike, thank you so much for being on this show. We're going to have to make this a regular practice, I think.
Cool. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. And if you love what you hear on this podcast, please, please, please share it. It's much appreciated. Please go and rate it in whatever podcast avenue that you listen to this on. We appreciate the endorsements and we appreciate the feedback. Peace out from another episode, and we will talk to you guys next time. Mike.
See you guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
If you're looking to elevate your business, aligned with continual innovation and evolution, Jeff wants to talk to you. Go to FitzerMortgageTeam.com and connect with him today.